Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of District 15 Live Chat. I'm Morgan Delac, the Chief Communication Officer for District 15, and I'm glad to see everyone online today. Today's topic is one that I'm personally very passionate about and so excited to share with the community. The topic today is music education. There is plenty of research that suggests that music is not only a creative outlet for students, but can also strengthen a child's performance in other academic areas. And here in District 15, we offer a variety of music education opportunities, ranging from weekly music instruction to choral groups to band and orchestra and others. So today we'll be talking with 2 musical groups from 2 levels, an elementary group from Virginia Lake and the jazz band from Walter Sundling Junior High School. And we'll also be talking to our fine arts curriculum coordinator, Adrienne Bailey. So just a reminder of how it works today is we will have some interview sessions with Adrienne, the teachers and the students. We'll hear some live performances, but we also want to hear from you, the people that are watching us today. So come with your questions. You can post your questions below the Facebook feed that you see. We'll see those questions and we will bring them up at the end of the broadcast so that you all can ask your questions and have them answered live on the air. So now I would like to bring in Adrienne Bailey. She is our curriculum coordinator for the arts in District 15. Hi, Adrienne. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello. Thank you for having me today.
So for those who aren't familiar with the structure of the fine arts curriculum in District 15, can you just give an overview of what we teach students from grades pre-K through 8 here?
Yes.
And Adrienne seems to be cutting in and out a little bit. It's hard for me to know how it's sounds. Adrienne, why don't you start again? I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
Try again? Okay.
So why don't you explain the overview again?
Try again. Okay, well, District 15, Divine Arts, comprehensive music, instrumental music, visual arts, sports, and any clubs that enrich these educational fields. Today I'll just share these 50 minutes of comprehensive music and visual art classes, typically beginning in 5th grade. Each school also provides students opportunities to participate in band, orchestra, and or choir. At the junior highs, students have a choice of various enrichment classes, which include a semester choice in comprehensive music, a semester choice in visual arts, and a year-long course in either band or orchestra.
Well, great. So it sounds like we have a wide variety of options for our students, which is wonderful. And today we're specifically going into the music side of things. So tell me a little bit more about what's available to students who are interested in music or performing music.
Sure. Beyond providing fine arts classes and courses within our school day, students have the opportunity to participate, typically again beginning at 5th grade. At the elementary level, choir is often provided as a club over the lunch hour. In addition to the small group lessons that are held during the school day, band and orchestra directors also provide a whole group band and orchestra rehearsal that's held before school. And as students move to the junior high, students are provided one smaller group sectional lesson per week during the day in addition to their course of either 7th or 8th grade band or orchestra.
Okay, so there's a lot for students to take advantage of. So it's important that parents also know these options, that it can encourage their students to take advantage of these things if maybe they're not familiar. So we know that there's been some new standards adopted by the state of Illinois for music. What does that mean? And how does that impact a teacher's ability to instruct its students?
Well, our district music program vision is really to promote the understanding and creation of music by Our vision is really to empower our students to engage in the actual processes of being a musician by creating, performing, responding, and connecting to music. And our district has created a music learning pathway teacher guide for K through 6 that was developed as a result of the Illinois adoption of the new learning standards. And a team of wonderful comprehensive music teachers worked together to understand and make these new music standards our own through a curriculum revision process. 7th and 8th grade is going through the same process, but through this year. There are major shifts in the new music standards. Previous teaching and learning was more focused on music appreciation and exposure to and performance of the music. And as I shared before, these new standards really focus on students experiencing and feeling like they are an actual musician. That increases really the rigor of our music curriculum by students again creating, and that is one of our major shifts, and that more prominently and responding and connecting, not beyond just performing. So there's lots of increase in student ownership with these new standards, students taking risks to be creative and more independent in their musical thinking. The standards lend themselves to teachers providing more personal choice and freedom from a singular path in learning about music to multiple pathways in meeting the goals of the program. So we want students to be active learners, and that anyone, even if you're not in choir, band, or orchestra, can create music and see themselves as a musician.
Well, that's great, and we are so excited that there are some new standards. I think we are having a little bit of audio problem. I'm not sure who is having some feedback here, but I'm hearing it in my headphones. So I'm sorry for anyone out there maybe hearing a little bit of feedback. But now we'd like to invite the Walter Sundling Jazz Band to the show. So we have Jeff Zilk, who is there with his students in Walter Sundling Theater, I believe, or the Walter Sundling Jazz Band room. So hi, Jeff. Thank you for being on today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
So we are so excited to hear your jazz band play for us. So without further ado, we'd just like to ask you to introduce your students and have them play a piece for us.
Absolutely. So the group you see in front of you is our jazz band. Our jazz band is made up of 7th and 8th grade students who meet before school on Tuesdays and Thursdays here in Sundling. And we're actually going to play one of the charts we're going to play at our upcoming concert, which is on Tuesday, December 19th in this very room. And the tune we're going to play for you is a rock chart called Kick in the Brass by Larry Barton. So we really hope that you enjoy it.
Well, great. Why don't you take it away?
Ready to rock. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, students. That was wonderful. We really loved your performance.
Thank you so much.
So, Jeff, I don't know if you'd like to dismiss the students or if they will be staying with us, but we'd like to ask you some questions. So it's up to you.
And I will be with you for your questions.
Okay, sounds good. You know, in the meantime, while the students are being dismissed, we have some wonderful comments from people watching today complimenting the jazz band. So just goes to show that people are watching, and we're so grateful to have you here. We have some comments here. Outstanding, nice guitar solo, Matt. So you've got some fans over there on Facebook today. So very impressive work from your students.
Thank you.
So for people watching today, they are probably first wondering how might their student become involved in the band if they aren't already? So explain the process of getting involved.
Right, so basically our students have got to think pretty early on in the process. So at the end of their 4th grade year, students who are interested in joining our band or orchestra program will be interviewed and visited with an assembly by one of the band and orchestra teachers. So we're planning to see pretty early for our students. So the students will go through an interview process at the end of their 4th grade year, in which they'd start band or orchestra in their 5th grade year. So band would start in 5th grade year, continue in 6th grade year, and then once they join us in the junior high, 7th grade, 8th grade, and hopefully beyond. So everything starts kind of at the end of the 4th grade year for our students.
Okay, well, that's great that they have opportunities so young. I know a lot of districts don't offer things until later on, so that's
Absolutely.
wonderful that they can start in the end of 4th grade. So in addition to jazz band, if you are interested in another method of music, what other bands are available if you're a junior high student?
In the junior high school, we have several ensembles available. So for our students who have started in 5th or 6th grade in the band program, they can join our 7th grade concert band. It meets as a class every single school day during the school year. So that's one great enrichment opportunity. For our students who've completed 7th grade band, they would have a chance to move on to our 8th grade symphonic band, which again is another class that meets during the school day. And as I said earlier, our jazz band, which is the group you saw earlier, is our one extracurricular band that meets outside of the school day, and that's in the mornings, right before school, twice a week.
Okay, so most of them fit in within the school day. Are students still able to participate in other elective classes or other sports and clubs if they choose to do band?
Absolutely, and most of our students, one of my favorite things to do with our students is to interview them and to do a quick poll with them to see how many of you students are involved in things other than band. Every single student's hand goes up. We have students who are athletes, who are extreme academic minds, and just involved in everything. And they're able really to fit it all in because being in music really teaches you to be very organized and helps you to balance your schedule. And we encourage our students to be involved and try as many things as possible once they continue on in their music education, for sure.
Well, that's great that they're able to do so much. I was an orchestra student myself all the way through high school, so I definitely appreciate the practice of music in the schools. And what would you said a little bit about this, but what is some advice that you might offer to students moving forward in their music education, maybe as they go on to high school?
Yeah, some advice I always offer to our students is if music is something that's important to you, just try to get involved as possible. You know, we start in the 5th and 6th grade and then moving on through junior high school. When you get to high school, there's many, even more opportunities that open up to our students. So I would say keep being involved, keep working hard, keep practicing. If private instruction is a possibility for your family, I always encourage that for our students. It's really going to help take them to the next level in their performing. So just keep it alive and keep the spark going for music, because these kids have worked really hard and we just love to see them continue all the way up through high school and beyond if possible.
Well, they sounded so amazing, and we're so grateful that you were able to have our students on the show today. Thank you so much, Jeff. We're going to keep you in the lobby area of our show until later on when we may have some more questions. So if you do have some questions for Jeff that were not answered here, please feel free to type them underneath the Facebook feed, and we will return to the question and answer session in just a few minutes. But now we have some more guests that we'd like to bring on the show. We would like to invite some musicians from Virginia Lake Elementary School, one of our K-5 buildings in the district to see us today. We have Beth Berger, who is there with her students at Virginia Lake. So hi, Beth. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us.
So, we would like to have you introduce who you have with you today. And I understand that they also have something to sing for us.
Yes, this is the Virginia Lake Chorus, which is made up of 5th and 6th grade students. And we are going to be performing a piece that we are going to do in our concert next week. And it's called Ayele, and it is a traditional song from Ghana in Africa. And it's about a girl who is going to the market, and she's not so happy. And so she's crying out because she can't find what she wants. So here we go.
Great job, guys. That was great. Good job. Thank you so much for that wonderful performance.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Mrs. Berger, are you dismissing your students at this time? And then you'd maybe like to answer some questions for us?
Absolutely. The students are going to be leaving, and I'll be with you in 1 second.
Okay, great. Well, in the meantime, let's showcase some of the great comments that we've received about the Virginia Lake Choir. Sounds great, VL Chorus. Thank you for that comment. We agree. We have some VL fans here, a lot of them. Go VL, go.
Go VL, go.
We have another go VL, and we have a woohoo. So very nice job to Mrs. Berger and her students over at Virginia Lake.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Beth, again for having your students join us today. That was a very large group of students who are not only singing, but also playing musical instruments. So not an easy task, and we were so fortunate to hear them today.
Thank you. Yeah, we have about 32, 33 kids in chorus.
Wow, that's a lot of kids, and they all sounded wonderful and all seem to be very excited to be on our show. So great.
Thanks.
So, I'd like to start out asking you some questions about the new music curriculum. As Adrienne Bailey talked about in the earlier portion of our show, you have been one of the lead teachers in the process of writing and implementing this curriculum progression. So tell me about how these changes are supporting our students' learning and understanding of music.
Sure, absolutely. So these new standards that have been developed were adopted in 2014, and the previous version was from 1994. So it's been 20 years since we've had this revision. And so what we did as a team was we looked at the new standards and then thought, well, how is that going to work in our classrooms? And one of the big shifts that was so exciting to me, as Adrienne mentioned, was on being active music makers and going from the music appreciation of learning about music to actually being a creator and a performer in music, from the very little guys, kindergartners, all the way up through the sixth graders that I see.
Mm-hmm. I think that's so important just to understand how that works for kids all the way through. We have such a wide abilities and interest in music, and I think this new adoption is really going to help foster their interest in music all the way through adulthood. So I think it's a great change.
It sure is. It sure is.
So for those of us that aren't familiar with what music class looks like in an elementary school, can you tell us how often students come to see you as a teacher? Is it just vocals, or what happens in music class?
Sure. So our regular kindergarten, they come once a week for 30 minutes. And our bilingual kindergarten all the way through sixth grade, they come twice a week for 30 minutes each time. So 1 hour a week of instruction. And in a typical music class, I don't really know if there's a typical music class, but the little ones, we spend a lot of time working on developing a singing voice, as well as learning simple percussion instruments, keeping a steady beat, because that's something that's going to continue on. And then as they grow and mature, we add other instruments like recorders or the drums and the xylophones that you saw today. We really want them to sing, say, create, and play. And we do also a lot of movement and folk dancing and pretty much everything.
So the instruments come into play. Is that later in fourth grade or fifth grade? Like Jeff was mentioning, they can start picking up a musical instrument. I think it was the end of fourth grade. Is that right?
Yes, they're band and orchestra instruments they can do in fourth grade, or at the end of fourth grade. They start in fifth grade. And so that's for band and orchestra. But for me, even in the general music class, in fourth grade, we start recorders. Some teachers do third grade, fourth grade, and through sixth grade. So at some point they will, everyone will have a recorder as an instrument. And then we also use various percussion instruments like xylophones, hand drums, triangles, maracas, other things to help them be that active music maker.
Great. So you really, at the end of sixth grade, you are helping to launch students into junior high and help them continue on with music if they desire at that level. How do you help this process? How do you help the transition between elementary and junior high with music?
Well, a big collaboration between teachers, but then also just encouraging the students to make music a choice at the junior high, even if it's just for one semester or 1 year, just to continue that, especially if they really enjoy it. So that in the, as they continue and grow and in the future, that music is just a part of their life, even if they're not a professional musician. And
that's so important. I think I appreciated having that opportunity as a child. And I think it's one of the things that kids keep with them as they get older, their experiences in music. So thank you so much. Right now I'm going to bring back Jeff to the show. So he's going to pop up on the screen here in a minute. And we're going to take some questions from our audience on Facebook. So I mentioned this before, but if you do have a question, please post it now. We will bring up some of these questions live and we'll have our teachers answer. And if we need to bring back Adrienne Bailey to answer some questions, we will do that as well. So we have some questions that were posted early on in the broadcast that I will get to first. Here's one from June Becker. How does music education enhance other areas of academics for students? So either one of you, Jeff and Beth, you could take this question. I think it applies to both of you. So who would like to answer this question?
Go ahead, Jeff, you go first.
Music education, and Beth's going to agree with me on this. It impacts so many different aspects of our students' lives. As I kind of alluded to earlier, anything from organization to dedication. There's also studies that show students do better academically by being involved in music. It goes hand in hand. We are covering so many different aspects of learning besides music in our daily instruction. It's just the place to be is in our music classes.
And even with those younger students, the simple concept of left to right reading, which they need to read books, it's the same principle we apply in music. That left to right reading is really enforcing them in their academics as well.
Okay. And as someone who heard the Virginia Lake Choir has a question at the junior high level, is there a course in junior high? Jeff, do you know the answer to this one, or should we bring back Adrian?
I can answer the question. There is a chorus here at all the junior high schools, to my knowledge, and I can speak to Sundling's chorus. It meets before school, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings here at 7 o'clock, and it is open to any students. No musical background is necessary, so it's a great opportunity for those students.
Okay, and we have another question about after-school opportunities. So a lot of the things that we mentioned are done in school, which is great because we reach all students. But are there any after-school clubs if you want to try out something a little bit more? Maybe you're interested in orchestra, but just aren't sure you want to take that leap yet. What opportunities are there in elementary and junior high?
We don't have after-school clubs per se. We have chorus and our chorus meets during their lunch recess time 2 times a week. And different elementary schools do that different ways depending on what works for the schedule of the building. I'm trying to think. At Winston, I believe, Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they have a mariachi, but that's also a class. So that meets during the school day. And again, I think perhaps the jazz bands or other opportunities might be after school at some of the different schools. It's kind of dependent on the building and what the schedule of the building is.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most part, most of the music activities are either during the lunch hour for our choruses or before school. Music's always been we've done things in the morning with music so that students who wanted to do other things like after school activities or sports, which typically take place in the afternoon.
Okay, and we've brought back Adrian Bailey to answer this question from a district perspective. So Adrian, are there opportunities that exist beyond Virginia Lake and Sundling that maybe a student who attends a different school would have some chances to take part in before after school clubs?
It's not as an after-school club. I would say these opportunities to try out music are embedded in our programs, and so it's not necessarily needed that we have an after-school club for them to figure out if they're interested in music. Because as you can see from Jeff and Beth, we have quality, hardworking music teachers and directors here that really want to continue to grow our programs, and they are doing such an amazing job that kids have that experience from kindergarten. As Beth said, they are already experiencing not only through vocals, but also through instruments at a very early age. And the tryout of musical instruments really is happening as Jeff pointed out at 4th grade. There is a very detailed process that our instrumental music directors put a lot of time and effort into helping students choose an instrument and to match an instrument for them to have that first experience in 5th grade.
Great. So thank you all for being here with me today. We don't have any more questions. We have a lot of comments that are praising the work that you all are doing. Unfortunately, I can't bring all 4 of us on the screen at the same time. It's the limitation of this technology. But thank you all for being here. If we have any last comments, Jeff, do you have anything else you'd like to tell our community about music at Sundling or anything else?
The one thing I'd say about our community at Palatine and all of our surrounding areas is our community has always been so supportive of our music programs, and that continues to this day. So we just want to thank you as our music staff for everything that you do to support our programs, anything from coming to our concerts or even tuning into this broadcast. It really means a lot, and you're supporting a really quality program. We've got great students and great teachers in this district, and we're very, very fortunate and thankful for such a great opportunity. So thank you again for inviting us today. We love this opportunity.
Great. And
Yes.
just as I close down questions, we had one more. So we'll bring it up. This is maybe a question for Adrian again. I may have missed this, but why is choir not offered in junior high like band and orchestra? If you could address that question, that would be great.
Within the school day, I think is maybe what they're asking. Right now, it's offered as an extra club, and that's just the structure of how it has been in the course of junior high classwork that they've been able to choose. So we want everybody to have that opportunity. With our enrichments at the junior high, there are a lot of choices of whether they are in band or orchestra, take comprehensive music class. So on top of taking, they have the comprehensive music class where they do a lot of extensions of what you heard Beth say they do at the K-6 level. There's the 7th and 8th grade comprehensive music. So that is offered within the school day for them to have music and be a musician in different ways that extend beyond 6th grade. So on top of that is the choir experience.
Got it. Okay. That really clears things up for some of us watching. So thank you. I brought Beth back magically. Jeff had gone away. So I wanted to extend the same invitation to you, Beth, to make any, final comments about your program or what you're doing over at Virginia Lake to those that are watching today.
Again, I just want to reiterate what Jeff said. I am so fortunate to be here at Virginia Lake. We have such a wonderful community of parents, teachers, administrators that really just support music and what we're doing. And I'm just so thankful to the district for giving us this opportunity to showcase all the wonderful things that are happening in our district in the music department. And we're just so excited to show it off. So thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. And Adrian, anything you'd like to say to our audience today?
Well, I think both Jeff and Beth have said it so well, but I really just want to highlight these amazing staff members who are so passionate and hardworking. And it's been a pleasure to work with them and try to support them in any way that they can to bring music to the forefront, because it is definitely something that makes a difference in kids' lives. And we all know, we all love music. We're all listening to music in our celebrations and through all different types of feelings that we have. And it's important as well as I think Beth or Jeff's pointed out that students perform far better. And that is proven time after time if they are involved in the fine arts. So I highly would ask any parent that's watching in the community to continue to support the fine arts, and because they're amazing programs here in District 15.
Great. Well, I want to thank all of our guests for joining us. The students' performances were such a treat. So thank you to the teachers and the principals and administration that helped make that possible. So once again, thank you to everyone watching on Facebook. We really enjoyed having you here. This is our episode 5 of District 15 Live Chat, all about music education in the district. Stay tuned to this page. We do a District 15 Live Chat every couple of weeks. We change the topic and we announce the upcoming event on the page. So just stay tuned to the page. We'll keep you posted on when the next one will be. We really appreciate you joining us today, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you.